honestly, at this point, there's no longer any excuse not to have a 3D printer, purely if it's for things like this. Kendama! Hey, it's kind of like kendama. I just want to say hello everybody. This is going to be a little more informal of a video. I know there's going to be a lot of new people on the channel. Thanks to Maddie and Daniel Grinrod for shouting me out on Instagram. I've had this channel for, I don't know, years, like 8 years maybe, doing vlogs on a couple different movies I was working on. You know, and as kind of career progressed, I started working on bigger things that become a little more sensitive, so the access hasn't been the same, but shifted that more towards other styles of videos wherever I can share stuff. Good news, writer's strike is over, hopefully. SAG is still on strike, but hopefully that kind of gets wrapped up with it all. It's been a little slow this summer, but that's kind of made way for some different opportunities for myself. I shot 3 K-pop videos. Those are all out now. They've gotten, one of them has like 25 million views. We got to shoot at the Barracks skate park. That was cool. It's kind of a legendary location. I'm sure a lot of you guys know it. We shot on the 6th Street Bridge in LA. We had that shut down with cops and, you know, planned it for the right time of day and everything, and had our lights on the bike path on the side. We couldn't take it over. It was kind of intermittent lockdowns, 2 minutes at a time. So we had to be careful with where we put the lights and making sure everything was out of the roadway and we could get onto the road and off in a quick fashion. We did a crazy dance choreography called Siren. Tons of moving lights in this beautiful old theater location. We even pre-visualized the lighting with Nick Jones, my dimmer board operator. He's a legend, works for David Fincher. Yeah, so over the weekend before the shoot, he came up with kind of a previs of everything, and then on the day we were able to sort of modify. But I thought it turned out really great. Let me know what you guys think. We shot film, we shot FX3, this camera, a whole bunch on my RS3. We had Red Raptor 8K, Red Gemini, all these different formats. But honestly, the FX3 I was super impressed with, and just from like maybe image-wise, it's not quite as great as the Raptor, and the lenses I was using weren't, you know, I was using Zeiss Supreme Primes. The G Masters aren't really the same, but what I lacked in image quality there, I gained for just the stuff we were able to shoot and the kind of shots we were able to get in the time. So I think the pros overweighed the cons in that sense. We were able to hop on this moving train, all safe. Everyone was strapped in. They painted the wires out later. And I was just able to get such a variety of shots so fast with that setup and autofocus, you know, that it would have just been so much more labor intensive with a bigger Ronin, because I would have had my stand on there and it would have been more monitors and stuff, and we were trying to chase in the daylight there. So, you know, it just shows to show that sometimes the big fancy cameras aren't the right way to go, and it's better to go with something small. So aside from that, I got to do a cool Amazon commercial. That was like a 7-day job straight. We drove up to Mammoth and shot in the snow in August, like the last people to be on snow. I brought 2 Ronin rigs. I mean, I brought 4 Ronins, but 2 that were gonna work. And we built this like sled rig out of a snow tricycle. That was the grip, Ray Garcia, he built all that. And I had my Ronin and the black arm on there, and then we had ski Ronin as well. That was Mitch, and then I did some skiing as well. And we did this big run, it was pretty far. So I had the master wheels to an external receiver. That worked pretty well until lunch. It just totally shit out. Not sure why, but I switched the receiver and it was okay. And then I had inertia wheels that were perfect the whole time. So anytime you need to go long range, I always go inertia wheels. Speaking of inertia wheels, I have a 10% off coupon that I can offer you guys. Just send me a message or a comment below and I can reach out to you guys and get you that 10% off anything on their store, which adds up when you're buying premium products. Life is good otherwise. Right now I'm prepping for a short that we're shooting next week called Bathed in Light. It's a one-night shoot, so I'm excited for that. I got a lot of friends hopping on for free. You know, it's a freebie gig. I never like asking people to work for free, but I try and pay it back in the future, and hopefully everybody can learn something and keep it light and easy, you know. We're trying a couple cool things on this short, and I've had to build a couple custom lights. This is an LED from Stratus LEDs. I had this all wired up with a little Spectrum receiver and a very small battery. I mean, this doesn't weigh much at all. And it's super bright. Oh my God. So yeah, this is, I mean, I'm shooting at 12,800 right now, so obviously this will be bright.
Okay, so
But yeah, I'm gonna fly this on an FPV drone as like this alien light source that's flying around in the desert. So I had this plastic dome light from Amazon, cut a hole into it. And the way I'm gonna illuminate this, initially I thought like using light gear light ribbon or something, but I wanted more control and I didn't really want to have to like custom solder something. So I did this. These are Aperture Hydra panels, full DMX. They're pixelated. You can break them up into 6 different individual pixels. So there's a lot of individual color control. And they're magnetic, right? So just snap them onto this steel pipe. And then I 3D printed this bracket here that will mount to the sphere. And this actually fits in there, but you have to like put the pipe in and then you put the lights in afterwards. So you can control the intensity if you want to get a little more color out of it. Gets pretty bright. And then you can control the speed of all the animations, right? You can kind of go crazy like that. You can be a little more slow and steady. So I also got some new gear recently. The DJI transmission. I know most people probably have heard of this. Basically on that Amazon job, when I had that problem with the master wheels and, you know, they wouldn't give out at 400 feet, they wouldn't work at 50 feet, right? I don't know what happens, if it's the receiver heating up or what was going on, but essentially I ended up using the drone team's DJI transmission, and that kind of saved the day. At least I had a backup plan if the second receiver went out. I was like, I need to have one of these, so I did buy one. Comes in a nice case. So this is the transmitter. This would go on the Ronin. You're supposed to plug it in. It can't plug it up on the pan motor. You have to plug it in down low in that power hub. So you end up having to put it somewhere on the camera, or what I did is I took my Master Wheels axis extension cable and I plugged it in down low and then I mounted it up high just to get a better line of sight. But, you know, it's pretty great. I mean, they say it has 20,000 foot range, 4 miles. Now I will say the video delay to the receiver is pretty bad. Best way I can illustrate it is like this. If this were the hand, it's kind of like, right? Couple frames, maybe 5, 6, 7 frames. It's enough to be problematic if you're trying to follow someone on a tight lens and having to react to things. Now, if you're doing drone work, might be okay, you know, high, wide stuff where you can anticipate stuff. But if you're doing wheels and someone, you know, is in a medium tight and they stand up, you're going to miss it every time. The signal, so the control commands from the wheels, is the same as with the master wheels. So a workaround is if you have good wireless video, like with a Teradek or something, you can use this just to transmit the pan tilt commands and then still use the Teradek for, you know, very low delay video. So that's kind of how I plan on using it. The mimic functionality is also much better than the old one, and obviously the range much better. Another new piece of kit is not this. I mean, I've had this as a 503 hybrid. I've had this since Stars Born. I don't know, six years ago or more, 7 years ago. I can't keep track of time. 503 high bright, the new, I'm using it right now actually, 503, what's this called? Ultra? This thing's super bright. So this, I believe, was 2,000 nits. This is now 3,000. Let me crank it up here. So backlight 0, 20, 30, 40, 60, 100. I mean, that is super bright. That is direct sunlight viewable while getting a kick angle off of something bright. So if there's a truck parked nearby and your monitor is kicking that back, you'll still be able to see your image, which is a huge deal, especially for gimbal operating, any kind of handheld work where you can't always control where you're going to be in relation to potential bright objects. So highly recommend this guy. And the buttons just feel super nice. The touchscreen is great. I can pinch zoom onto me, which is neat. So I have this just like sitting down there, zoomed in on my face just to verify focus. So I can check it sharp. Another exciting update is I've been working on a product. Can't really say much other than show you maybe some of the components that we've been having machined. This was kind of our version. This was our version 2. We have a version 3 coming, which is significantly better than this. But yeah, just been learning Fusion 360 for a while. That's how I design my Sparrow clamps that I make. These go on the Ronin like this, right off the side. And they let you do kind of like a low mode version of gimbal work, especially with like the anti-gravity and the slingshot. Lets you get low to the ground and gives your lens unrestricted pan because you're no longer in a ring. So these kind of just come off the sides and the gimbal hangs below it. Problem with this is like you basically need an anti-gravity or a slingshot to use them. And I know so many people have ready rigs and easy rigs and all these other types of rigs. So this new product is kind of that bridge. It's going to let you guys use this with a lot of the existing products and still get this big boom range and flexibility that I enjoy on my movies. So keep an eye out for that. If you want updates about that product, I'll have a link below. You can sign up for an email list through my website. You'll be the first to know about it and any pre-orders that may happen. Expect that in the next month or so to start hearing about it, and then we should have some ready to ship before the end of the year for sure. Also, really excited to go see The Creator this weekend. Oren Soffer, DP, shot that movie directed by Gareth Edwards. Basically almost all on the FX3. There's some BTS out right now. I'll put a link about that below, but you can see them with like the RS3 and the FX3 with John David Washington on this huge movie set, So it's showing maybe where some things are headed in terms of the tools we use. Appreciate all you guys, new and old. Got a couple more things coming down the pipeline in terms of videos. Some things maybe a little more targeted than this rambly sort of approach, but let me know if you guys are here for it. Also, thank you, Maddie, for sending me some of his effect packs. Got lens flares and film burns and cool typography stuff. All right, see you guys on the next one. Can't reach.